Hello, and welcome to the Side of the Desk. This is our 7th episode. I can't believe how many we've gone through. Each month, I'll be chatting with influential industry leaders to explore their journey to success and also, more importantly for me, the role recruitment played throughout. Now, we're currently streaming live on LinkedIn, so you can watch or listen instantly. If you can't join us today, don't worry, everything's on the website. I get life is busy, so you can catch up with us all later. Now, joining me today for episode 7, I have Tinique Hay, the founder of Hay Events. Now, Tinique is an award-winning entrepreneur and an event business owner with over 9 years of experience established within the meetings, conference, and private event sector. Now, Tinique is driven by the love and passion of working within the sector, alongside building an everlasting family legacy, which led to the birth of Tinique's events management company, Hay Events, which we'll learn about today, and we'll definitely have a chat about her entrepreneurship spirit as well. So welcome, Tinique, to Side of the Desk. Anything you'd like to add from that? Like I just screwed up completely, or anything you'd like to add to that, Tinique?
Oh, hello.
Hey, we can hear you now. We have a bit of technical drama again. Can you hear me loud and clear, Tinique? So while we work out what's going on with Tinique's, I don't know, do you want me to sing a song? I mean, look, I'm just getting a quick message about her. So we're just going to work out what's happening with Tinique. We'll see if we can get her back now. Are you there, Tinique? No.
Yeah, I'm here now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, right. I do. Did you hear the intro that I gave you? Was that all right? Anything you wanted to add?
No, that was perfect, actually. I really liked the videos of myself. I was like, right. I was like, oh my God, I loved it. I was like, okay, can I have a copy of that? I absolutely loved it. Very creative. So congrats. That's amazing. Yeah, I liked it.
100% isn't me. That's Naomi doing all that. She is.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, big shout out to Naomi. So just before we get started, no worries. Just before we get started properly, just to let everyone know, we are live, as you can tell from the technical issues. It means you can share your comments, share your thoughts in the comment box. Just introduce yourself, jump on in, tell us where you are. We're also going to be trying something new later. We've got the recruitment hot seat, which we'll do sort of midway through, where we'll be asking Tinique a series of 7 words that relate to the events industry and recruitment. And we're going to see what Tinique does with where her head goes, basically, first of all. But before we get into that, are you hearing me okay, loud and clear, Tinique?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. Before we get into the recruitment section, the recruitment hot seat, let's just find out more about you. So, in the intro, it mentioned about nine years you've been doing. So how did you actually get into events? How did that sort of pathway happen for you?
It's a funny story because I didn't really know event management degree even existed. So I've always had an entrepreneur mind. At the age of 7, I actually wanted my own Caribbean restaurant. It was going to be called Tinique's Caribbean Flavors. This was age 7. So I had an entrepreneur mind. So I knew I wanted to get into business and wanted to have my own business. So I knew that my sister would do my logo. She actually did my logo for me. My dad would do all the Yeah, 7. Yeah, I was 7 years old, literally 7. Ask my mum. Yeah. My dad, I knew he would do the logistics. So I said, Dad, he had a van. So I was like, Dad, can you get all the tables and chairs? This was my thought process. And my mum does great mac and cheese. I was like, Mum, you can do the signature mac and cheese in my restaurant. So everyone, I knew at the age 7. So I knew I had an entrepreneurial mind at age 7. And then I did like a 2-week work placement at the Green Park Lane Hotel when I was 14. So I was like, okay, I want to be a chef. I want to own my own restaurant. And then after 2 weeks, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm a girly kind of girl. And I didn't like the fact that I was in a dungeon, in the kitchen. I was all hot and sweaty. I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do it. So I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to leave cooking as my hobby. And I thought, what else can I do? What else am I passionate about? I loved maths. So I was like, do you know what? Let me just be an accountant. I just be an accountant. I can't bother. So I went to the University of Hertfordshire's opening day for the accountancy degree, and me and my mum sat at the back of the lecture hall, and within 5 minutes I fell asleep. I was like, I can't do this. It was so boring. I was like, I can't do this for 3 years. I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? So I went outside and I looked in the booklet again, and I saw events management. I was like, oh my God, I never knew this was a degree. And I was like, I love planning events for my friends and family. So why not let me just go and see what it's all about? And then since then, I have never looked back. I was blown away by the creativity of the event industry and how us as event planners, event professionals can turn a vision into reality. And it was everything. I absolutely loved it. So since then, I graduated with a first class degree in events management in 2014. And then since then, within those 9+ years, I've been working within historic venues, within the events and sales teams. So I was there supporting them, my clients from start to finish. From the show rounds to converting the show rounds to a sale, doing all logistics, working with suppliers, and then being on the day supporting on-site management as well. So that's similarly, that's how I got into events. Really, it just fell in my lap. I was like, okay, what is this all about? And like I said, I never looked back. I eat, sleep, my passion. So I'm so happy that I was able to support my clients within the 9 years that I've been working within events, and I'm so happy now that I'm in my own business doing what I love and serving my amazing clients. So that's how I got into events.
It's so funny here, the people not knowing that there's a degree in events, especially if you've only 9 years is obviously a long time, but it's not in the 20-30 year career that we hope that you have. And it's interesting how many people don't know that there's a degree in it, because it was a bit of luck obviously for you, but I love that. So I want to know how you went from Caribbean restaurant to
I know. I thought because it's like being a chef, you're working on your feet for 12 hours, but similarly I'm an event planner now, I'm an event manager, I'm always on my feet for 12 hours. So I don't know, it just jumped. I was like, do I really want to do cooking for the rest of my life? Can this can just be a hobby? So then I jumped to accountancy because I love maths. That was my favorite subject in college and in secondary school. So I love maths. So I was like, let me just be an accountant.
I think you just said something to me I don't think I've ever heard in all of these, and we'll never hear again. I love maths.
I know.
I'm going to have that as your intro. Naomi will clip that for our edit. That'll be like, I love maths.
I do like maths because I'm a logistical kind of person. So there's only one answer that's always going to be right in maths. With English, you have to think about, okay, you could do this, you could do that. With maths, it's either you're right or wrong, and that's what I like about it. It's either you're right or wrong, and you need to get the right answer. So that's how my brain works. That's why I love maths.
You know what? I've never thought of it like that. The only time I bring maths into it is when I talk, because my son, he's 8, that we talked about it. He hates maths. He's
really?
He's like me. It's like, I don't want to learn this. It's boring. But
really?
if you think about events in marketing, I love it when they say things like, 80% of delegates have signed up, or 80% of people we spoke to said it was a great event. And then at the bottom it says, we asked 4 people. So you can use maths and numbers and that I love stuff like that. It always makes me giggle. So that was 9 years ago, and you sort of fell into it again, which a lot of people say, but at least you had that sort of degree from doing the degree and coming into the sector. What do you feel you wish you'd have known? Like what can we be sort of talking to people coming through? Because I'm obviously going to ask you about what keeps you in the sector, because you've obviously got the passion for it. But what do you feel that transition has been like, university into real world events life?
For me, you don't really get a lot of practical experience when you're doing your degree. For me personally, I took a year out to do practical experience, because I feel like you learn on the job with events. Yes, you can learn the theory side of it, but you need to put that theory into practice. So me personally, what I did, I took a year out and I did a whole placement year. And within that placement year, I did 2 weeks placements at other industries, from weddings to hospitality and so forth, to get an understanding of what I really liked and what really I'm passionate about. So for me, for people who are venturing in from degree to a full-time job in events, I would say get as much experience as possible, which is why I support event profs and future event profs with on-site management. So for example, they can come to me and say, Tinique, I really want experience. They can come and support my clients on the day of their events. And that's what I'm an advocate about. I really want to support future event professionals, and because I think experience is key, so that that way they can build up their portfolios. And I've worked on this event, I've worked on this event, this is my skills for this event, and this is what I've gained. So I think that's really, really important. So looking back, I would say definitely experience is key. As soon as you start first year of uni, look for experience. Say, I really want to learn a job, shadow someone, go to an event professional or go to an agency. I really want to shadow you to gain as much experience as possible. So when I leave university, I have that portfolio of experience that I can help get and land a job after graduating. So that's what I would say.
Wow. So in that gap year then, I assume you were paid for the work you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do it? Because that sounds like a lot of work to try and find 10 jobs or something during that period. And I think that's really interesting for event profs coming. And I do a lot of uni stuff. And the question I'm always asked is, how do we get an entry level job when people say they want 2 or 3 years? Now that's a bigger industry problem that employers need to work on. But how did you go about, going and finding all these jobs in that first year? How did you do that?
With me, I'm just like I'm a forward person. I'm always active. I put together like a covering letter and my CV and said, I really want to gain as much experience as possible. And I made a list of all event agencies that I really want to approach. And I just sent them emails. I kept on sending emails that I'm a first year student and I really want to gain as much experience as possible. I bigged them up a bit and said, you're one of the top event agencies. And I really want to shadow one of your main events or shadow one of your event managers just to help me gain experience. And that's what got me in, I would say, and support of my lecturer as well to help me create my covering letter and CV. So yeah, I'm just like a go-getter. I was like I want something, I'm going to get it. So I just did that. I utilized my time within uni just to help me with my CV, my covering letter, and then I just reached out to event agencies. So I made a full list of who I want to reach out to, and that's what I did. So I found their email, and then I just sent lots of emails.
That's amazing. I mean, I love that, and I think this is the difficult, and it's really hard because I'm known as being quite direct. As a recruiter, I'm quite, and when I speak at university, sometimes I don't mean to come across as like sometimes I can come across as like, look, it's not up to us to want you, it's up to you to add value to the industry, sort of thing. And I think there is that disconnect there. But what you're sort of talking about is take control of that. You can control it. You've got to get off your ass really and go and do that. So how would you advise people to do that when, I think a lot of people do come out of uni, don't they, thinking, right, where's my job, sort of thing, and there's that slight disconnect with the real world.
I think before you finish your degree, really think about what are you passionate about, what sector of the event industry that you're really passionate about, what is a client that you really want to have. Just have a think, strategize. I'm all about strategy and having a think. Okay, don't just think I just want to get a job. Really think about what sector you want to get into. Is it weddings? Is it corporate? What is the area that you want to get into? And then do your research. LinkedIn is my best friend. Go on LinkedIn and start connecting. Go to industry events and really start connecting with other peers. And from there, and then have a think about, okay, this is really what I want to do, and then approach these agencies, and build up your community as well. Maybe link up with other industry event professionals and graduates and work together to support you getting a job within the event industry.
Love it. Now look, before I get on to the next one, it would be foolish of me not to ask you about your strategically placed awards and things behind you on your wall, which you've obviously done on purpose, and I like that a lot. So you've got your business there. Shout out to Harry. It's funny, I always have to take mine down, but my wife bought me this, and I have to take it down because it's behind me. Look, that's how I'm appreciated at my house. But what have you got on the wall?
I love
what have you got on the wall behind you? I know, yeah, cheeky. She's a cheeky one. What's on the wall behind you then? What have you got there, Tinique?
So one is Business of the Year, and the other one is Entrepreneur of the Year.
Wow! And what is that? Press, local council, industry? What was that?
A local area. So I live in Newham, so my borough is Newham. So I was Entrepreneur of the Year within my borough, Newham, and I was Business of the Year within my borough of Newham. So that is, Newham. So I live like in Stratford, West Ham. So yeah, out of everyone within the borough, I was voted Entrepreneur of the Year and Business of the Year.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And it's interesting because you've sort of taken a bit of a different route, haven't you? You've gone quite quickly into the, business owner, entrepreneur. Like, is that, and you mentioned since 7 you've wanted to do this, so I get that. But why do you feel you've gone that route? Because a lot of people tend to sort of go, right, I'm going to get into a bigger agency, take there, and then go on my own. So why do you feel you've gone that way round?
It was COVID. So initially,
I suppose, yeah.
2020 before. It was COVID, yeah. So 2020, my vision was I was going to leave where I was. So initially, I was at 10 to 11 Carlton House Terrace, which is owned by the British Academy, for 4.5 years. So my vision and my strategy was to leave that job and go into an agency side to build up my agency experience. And then from there, maybe 2-3 years, I would have left that and gone full-time in Hay Events. But because of lockdown, I thought, you know what, life is too short. Let me just get the ball rolling and start my business now. So I started it in February 2020. Lockdown happened. I was in 3 months, and then I was like, I need to get out of the state. So I got a business coach who specialised in events management, and she really helped me to develop Hay Events strategy, my brand, and who I really want to target. So within those 2 years of COVID and lockdown, I really strategized and really built up my personal brand and my business brand of Hay Events. And then in 2022, on my 30th birthday, which is one of my milestone goals, was to leave my job, my full-time job, and go full-time in my business, Hay Events. So when I was 25, I said on my Instagram, I think to a friend, I was like, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to have my own business. So so I left in 2022, and I was like, 30th birthday, that was the year. My last day was on the 24th of January, my birthday. And I've gone, this is my 2nd year full-time in my business. So I would say COVID, to answer your question, helped me to really elevate. Do you know what, Tinique? Take that leap of faith and go all in on my business.
That's awesome. Although you scared the shit out of me saying you're 30 last year, because I'm 47 this year, and I am not. I am freaking out about it. And well done as well, because I read somewhere, like, my business has been going 7 years, and when I set up, everyone always says to you, say again.
I said congrats, 7 years.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, thank you very much. And everyone always said to me, do you know 80% of businesses fail in their first year? And I was like, oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for that.
I know.
Why would you tell people that? And it's interesting, you've got to that 2nd year, which I always felt the 2nd year was the real, if you've got a business, because year 1, you've obviously given yourself a bit of sort of, little bit of money just to make sure you can do it on your own, and you've got all the excitement of setting up a business. Year 2, when it's like, okay, now I've got a business, so it's brilliant to see. I'm really good, I think. It scares shit out of me in 2nd year, but it's really good for that talent pipeline, because I think a lot of people now want their own business, but I think they don't get what actually being a business owner is. There's so much around that. And it's great to see. And is that what keeps you in the industry? Is it all of that? Like what is it yourself? Do you think this is why I'm staying? What is it that drives you, do you feel, apart from money, obviously?
It's just seeing my clients' end result of me helping them turning their visions into reality. I love what I do. It's a job. It's a bonus that I get paid for doing what I do. And it's the fact that I'm doing on my own accord. Is my business, is Hay Events, is the legacy that I'm building, and serving my clients is everything. And 9 times out of 10, my clients choose me because of my passion. So what keeps me in is I'm just passionate about working in events and really supporting my clients. So it's the passion. Every day is different. It's the creativity. It's the logistics. It's me thinking about what can work for my clients. It's helping them with the strategy plan. It's the whole 360 of planning an event for my client from start to finish and turning their visions into reality and being there with them throughout the journey, being an accountability partner. And I get emotional on the day of events because I'm like, oh God, like I'm living in a place where I actually love what I do and I'm just passionate about it. So on the day of my clients' events, I get a bit emotional. I was like, oh my God, it's turning into reality. And yeah, I'm just smiling from ear to ear when my clients are happy, and most importantly, they're stress-free. So I'm just like, I've done my job. So yeah, I think my passion definitely keeps me in. And being motivated also by other event entrepreneurs who were like at this stage, who just started their agency and they're big now. So that motivates me to say that someone can do it, I can do it, Tinique can do it. And it's one step at a time, it's consistency, because being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. You have to feeling downs up. But now I'm happy. So every day it's different. So I would say the drive, determination, and the passion keeps working in events and owning my own business, I would say, yeah.
And just on that, in the intro, it mentioned meetings, conferences, and private events. Excuse me. What type of projects then do you work? Do you have a specialty, or do you work quite overall? Like what sort of projects do you work on? What type of events?
Yeah, so my main things is I help entrepreneurs plan impactful events to increase their brand awareness. So these events could be net events, panel discussions, and roundtable discussions. Any business type of events can help elevate my client's brand to the next level. So that's what I really focus on. I don't do weddings or private parties and so forth. I really focus on business events to help my clients elevate their brand to the next level. So like I said, it could be product launches, networking events, conferences, roundtable discussions, private dinners, anything to do help them their product and service. So that's what I mainly focus on. But on the other pillar as well, I am a freelance corporate event planner as well. So that could be mostly conference events and conferences and roundtable networking events. So it's similar, I would say. So those are the type of events that I do.
And how does, obviously with this being a recruitment around events, so the business is you, and then you, I assume, flex up and down for these sort of work. So two questions really, and answer them whichever order. But how is recruitment for you personally? You going for jobs, you being recruited, and how does recruitment sort of come in with your, the type of freelancers or the work that you have for these projects that you do when you're working up and down? So two questions: one, you personally, and two, when you need people for your work. What does recruitment mean for you?
Me personally, making myself known that what I do, what I specialize, just helping others to help with the event strategy side. So for me, my personal brand is key in order that people into my business, so they're aware of what I do and how I can serve them. So I would say definitely my personal brand helps me attract ideal clients, and me personally reaching out to them. I can do this is how I can help you, and also attending networking events as well. That's how I feel like I can recruit to work with events. Say I'm a person to buy my pen, love meeting, and on 9-10, most of my clients come to me through word of mouth or me actually going to networking events and really building a strong relationship with them, and that's how I retain of my clients. But in terms of the side of me getting to help me with my events, at the moment I am a one-man band, but my goal this year is to recruit a part-time event assistant, which is going to be this month, which I'm excited about. And what I do in terms of on the days of events, I get event students. So I work in collaboration with the University and other universities to recruit event students who want to gain experience, and that's my passion. I want to help all those who are taking a degree in events management or who are graduating and they want as much experience as possible. So I've got like a group chat, and I just put up posts and saying this: I need a certain amount of people for this. This is the job description. This is how much I'm going to be charging. This is the benefits. And then also, if they want any references after that, I'm happy to give it to them. So that's what I do in terms of recruiting people into my business to help with my clients' event on the day of events. And then the other side is building it up and going to networking events to help people recruit hay events to support them with their events.
I absolutely love that. And University of Hertfordshire is I do it's a race scholarship basically for it's called Reach, Race, Ethnicity and Cultural Heritage, and University of Hertfordshire has been our partner this year. You know, Shanali has been like, Shanali got us involved with.
Yeah, no, Shanali. Yeah, I love it. That's really good.
I love her. And yeah, Manchester Met was last year, University of Hertfordshire this year, and we're announcing next year's at the, I think, the meeting show. But I love that about the universities, because I think that that's such a great sort of thing that people forget, you know, especially when they get into their own business. You get so focused on it. What's that lovely phrase? Something about when you get to the top of the ladder, don't pull it up, you know, something like, you know, like make sure you're helping others.
I don't know.
You know, the
exactly,
idea is
I'm all
that you're business owner. I mean, you know, you reach that ladder, you're up there. Sorry, go on, you go, because we've got a bit of a delay. You go.
I was going to say, literally, I got an email yesterday. One of the event students reached out to me because they was doing a dissertation on events entrepreneurs. And so I did an interview for her to help her with her research. And she emailed me yesterday and congratulated me and said, oh, thank you so much. She got a first class in her degree, in her dissertation. And I added so much value to her research that supported her with her first class in her dissertation. And I got a bit emotional because I love helping future event professionals. Like I work with Blueprint for All, and I help deliver workshops for their entrepreneurial program. That is one of my passions. I love entrepreneurship and helping the future entrepreneurs and future event professionals. So that's why I love supporting any event professional or event student who really wants to get involved, who really wants to experience. I was like, come and work with Hey Events.
Oh, well, what we'll do is when we put the episode out there and online, just drop Naomi any links you want us, you know, for either Hey Events or for any of your programs that you do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to go into our recruitment hot seat. So we've not done it before, so it might go drastically wrong, but we'll give it a go. So I'll ask you one more question, and then we'll go into it. I know it should be a good giggle, but yeah. So the other story I was going to ask you there is, you've talked quite positively. Lots of things happen, but during your career, there must have been some jobs that you wish you get. What do you think is the worst job? Just so other people know that there is a. It's not all sunshine and lollipops. What is the worst job you feel you've had to do, sort of event wise?
The worst job. I'm quite all positive. I don't know. Maybe cleaning up after people. I don't know. I love everything to do with events, so I don't know what the worst. I would say I can say my worst experience, my first job. I would say my worst experience in terms of my manager, who wasn't really nice to me. I felt like she was quite racist, so I won't lie to you. So it wasn't a great time for me for my first job out of uni. But I gained a lot, which helped me elevate my skills to the next level. So I'll say, that wasn't a great time for me. I liked everyone else in the company, but my manager wasn't nice. So that was an experience that I want to forget. But it made me stronger, I'd say.
I love how you just casually went, my manager was racist. Like, wow, that's awful. Yeah, and I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. It's a struggle. Look, I obviously, as a middle-aged white man, have never had to deal with. But I just don't know how people are like that. I really can't get my head. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Right.
It's all right. That was a negative. I didn't want to say that was a that's only a negative thing that I've experienced so far to date. But I love what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping people get called out for that now, because it's, I think we do live in a world now, hopefully, unless I live in a rose tinted glasses, but I think we do live in a world now where people are like, it was never okay and it's not okay, because I don't understand it, and I'm sorry. Right, I'm going to completely gloss over it now because I don't know how to carry on that conversation. We're going to do our recruitment hot seat, all right, while I go and have a sit down. No. So Naomi's going to play a video, and then I will come back on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you I'm going to say 7 words to you. I'll give you a word, and then what we need from you is what's the first thing that pops into your head. And if it's really daft, we'll keep going with it. And if not, we'll just see what happens at the end. Okay, are you ready? I'll let Naomi go. Free. It was actually fire. I've never seen that before, but it was actually fire. I love that. Right, here are your words. So number 1, recruitment. What's the first thing that pops into your head when we talk about recruitment? Say recruitment.
Growth, expansion.
Oh, that's posh. I like that. Number 2, interview.
Whittling down who is the best person for that role, through giving them questions that relate to their job role and how they would adapt within the role that we are recruiting for.
Bloody hell, these are a lot smarter questions than I thought. It was just going to be piss takes. But anyway, right. The next one, and think carefully, recruiter.
They have an eye of who they want to help their clients fill that role. They know what they're looking for, and they could be quite harsh in recruiting people. But they hit the nail on the head, and they always tend to get it right. Yeah, that's it.
I like that one. Number 4, salary.
Salary is, I would say, a value that is put upon people based on that job role, but it doesn't reflect on them as a person. They are worth more than a number.
Bloody hell, Tinique, this is a bit deep. Jesus, I don't know what to do there. Okay, next, we've got the next one, 6 1, talent. What do you think about when you hear the word talent in recruitment? I've lost her. She's gone.
Yeah, I was just laughing. Talent. Okay, talent. Finding a person who is skilled at the role, and they're talented in areas that will help elevate that role to the next level.
Thank you. And last one, what do you think of when you hear the phrase event professionals?
Passionate, readiness, organised, and who loves to have Prosecco and canapes.
Prosecco. I feel like you like that. Well, thank you for doing recruitment hot seat. That was a lot smarter than I thought that was going to be. I don't know if we've got a video to say goodbye. I don't think we have. So let's just carry on with it and we'll see what happens. So we talked about your career. We talked about obviously how you've grown. We talked about where you've got to now. And we did touch on a subject that, look, I don't want to be glib about it, but it's a really bad subject and it might sort of lead into what we're doing now. But like, what do you feel needs to change in the industry? Like, where do you, and it doesn't have to be what we just spoke about, it can be whatever you want, but what do you feel is something that as an industry we've got to change to move forward?
One thing for me is more diverse in terms of the panelists that we use for industry, I'd say. When I first ventured into the world events back in 2014, and I used to go to these industry events, I was never able to relate to anyone on the panelists because they didn't look like me, and they didn't really, I just couldn't relate to anyone on the panelists because they all looked the same and no one looked like me. So I would say more of a diverse speaker within the panelists when attending events. I think that's the main thing for me personally. Just don't always choose the same people to speak at events. Ensure that there's always diversity within the panels. That's the main thing for me.
And on that subject, one of the things that really pisses me off when you see a diverse panel is when all they want to do is speak to, say a black woman like yourself. All the questions they'll ask you is about being a black woman rather than I'm an event professional and I'm a business owner and I'm a human.
Yeah, and there's so many other things.
I do feel, things like the Diverse Speaker Bureau, with Gabby and Priya and Felicia, and I was going to mention earlier, there's I think they're called Events 101 with Benedicta Asante. Do you know Benedicta?
Oh yeah.
I love what she's doing with Events 101, and I think what's happening now is, and I hope it's happening, and obviously I'm speaking from a completely different angle than you, but I'm hoping it's becoming the norm rather than like a trend or a thing we should do.
Exactly,
I'm hoping it's becoming like, you know, because myself, you know, as a senior level recruiter, I have clients saying to me, you know, we're looking to have a more inclusive workforce or a more diverse workforce. And I used to ask, well, I've always asked them why, but the question used to be answered, first of all, oh, I don't really know, but we should just get, and it's like, no, that's not right. You know, it's, you've got to know why. And it is about, you know, background. You're going to have a different network than I am, and you might need to lean on my network, and I need to lean on your network. And it's about understanding that not, I had a question from oh God, I can't even tell you what it was, but it was a question I got asked, and it was basically saying like, you know, more diverse people are more creative. And I was a bit like, no, what you're doing is right. But I think people forget that the whole point is, by being more diverse, you are going to have different thought process, different networks, different. You're going to have a lot different than I am, and I'm going to have a lot different to you. So that's great, and I think I'm really hoping it's becoming more mainstream than it is, you know, just a thing to do, if you know what I mean. Thank you. Adding on to that then, and seeing what the sectors at the moment, what do you sort of feel yourself like? What's the most exciting thing, either in your world, you know, career-wise, or in the sector? Like, what do you see happening that you're really like, this is amazing, let's jump on this at the moment?
Of increasing the engagement levels between attendees and sponsors and delegates. I would say taking them on a journey of the planning process from start to finish, letting them know them and getting them involved within the planning process in terms of like the content strategy, in terms of panel discussions, panel topics. So that's what I'm really helping my clients with, getting the delegates, the sponsors, and the speakers on board of what do they want to gain from being a speaker, what do they want to gain from being a sponsor, and how best can we elevate that benefits into the event itself. So those are the key questions that I ask when delegates are registering for an event or sponsors are filling out a sponsorship form. I want to know what are the benefits they're going to get from being a sponsor, what are the benefits they're going to get from being a delegate, from we can factor that in to the planning process of the content of the event. So I'll say definitely engagement levels that I really love and I'm really driving at the moment, because 2020 taught us, or COVID has taught us, life is too short. So people are not just turning up to events for turning up to events' sake. There's a meaning, there's a purpose of why they're attending those events. So as us event professionals, we really need to hone on, okay, so what is the benefits? What are they want to gain? And how best can we increase the engagements, the creativity levels to the next level for events? So that's what I'd say.
I love that, and I think it's something I always talk about. Julius, who was on a few months ago, Julius Solaris, who's like a sort of event guru,
he's so good.
He is. And he's talking about that engagement a lot. And I mean, what does that? Where does that go into? God, you know, we're in May already. I was going to say, what does 23 look like? We're nearly halfway bloody through it.
Exactly.
It's insane, isn't it? But what's 23 looking like for you? Like, what's on the horizon for you?
At the moment, Q2 and Q3 are quite busy. So in July, I've got a business brunch, networking a bunch. This week, I've got still virtual events are still going ahead. Virtual events, a 5-day virtual event for a client, and I've got a big conference at the end of September in Hilton. It's for lawyers, good Black lawyers, to help elevate their careers to the next level. So we've got 250 expected, all either lawyers, barristers, paralegal, which I'm excited about. It's a 2-day retreat conference, which is amazing. And then I've got about 2 more in October. So that's at the moment, but I'm trying to rev up Christmas bookings now.
Christmas. Well, I'll have to tell everyone, get your email, get your CVs to Tinique, because she's looking for people to help her with that, ideally students or new people to the industry. So with all of that coming on, and that's super, that is really amazing. What would you say though, last few years, like what are you most proud of career-wise? Because obviously, you know, you're doing fantastically well, but what would you say one thing you're most proud of with your career today?
For me, definitely taking that leap of faith and leaving mine to go all in on my business, and just having a passion, the drive and determination, which is reflected on 2 awards that I'm not giving up, because I could have gave up at the first hurdle of leaving my job. Because like you said, when I first left my job, there was like, people say only 1% entrepreneurs survive within the first 2 years, or are you really sure what you're doing? Like my mum will say, no, just go part-time. And so I was like, no, mum, I don't want to do it. So there's friends and family who are there at your benefit and supporting you, and they want the best for you, but at the same time they're in your ear saying, are you sure this is the right path to go down? So it's more of, today I would say, my passion, my determination, and winning these 2 awards, which has just motivated me. That was my first year of going full-time in my business, winning those 2 awards, and increased my business brand and my personal brand. So if I can do that in my first year of leaving my job, there's so much more to come. So I'm just proud of myself personally. Regardless of my highs and lows, my depression, my anxiety, at the first year of going by myself, I pushed through that. So yeah.
Very inspirational, Tinique, and very open of you to talk about stuff that we were told, especially people my age, we were told not to talk about how we're feeling. But I think it's more important than ever that we do address that it's not all fun and games, you know. I mean, with that in mind, like if you could go back 9 years or 5 years or whatever, and give yourself, like, go back and speak to yourself 5 or 9 years ago, what advice would you give yourself? What one piece of advice would you give yourself back then?
Comparison is not good, and I am capable when I put my mind to it. So stay focused, stay determined, and have the passion of events at the heart of everything you do.
Just on that, what do you mean by comparison? Do you mean with other people?
Yeah. So you often compare yourself to maybe other event professionals and the level where how they've progressed in the event industry, or event agencies, and how much they're doing and how much business they're getting. So I would say definitely comparison is something that I would say to myself 5 years ago, that don't compare yourself, because you are capable and everyone's different and everyone's unique in their own way. So your clients will be attracted to you because of you.
You're so right. I was up in Leeds recently speaking at CHS Leeds, and I was talking to a friend of mine. She's been by herself for 5-10 years, I think, running a business. Really successful, wonderful. She still gets really down about social media, because she's like, my business, I don't talk about it. But I'm like, yes, because she's got such a great business and works with some really cool brands. But she even looks at it and thinks, well, that person's doing that. And we were chatting, she's nearer my age than she is yours. And it still happens, so it's such good advice about that. Such good advice. Okay, last question. You'll be pleased to know, and then I'll let you get back to your day. Last question. You did touch on this earlier, but just for the audience that maybe are thinking now about entrepreneurship or coming into the industry, what advice would you give to others looking to come into the sector, or setting up their own business, whatever you want? What would you sort of say, this is Tinique's go for advice?
So I'll just do 2. So if you want to go into the industry, I would say experience is key. So reach out to me if you want to say, Tinique, do you know what, I really want to gain experience of working in the event industry. Reach out to me. I'm happy to support you as of when. If I need support on my clients' events, on the day management, let me know. Email me, send me a DM on LinkedIn or Instagram. So I'll say gain as much experience as possible to build up your portfolio, so that way when you're ready to apply for jobs within the event industry, you've got that on your CV, or you've got a reference from myself, Hey Events, to say that you supported me, and this is the skills that you've gained. So experience. Learning on a job is, for me, a great thing to do, and shadowing either an event agency or an event professional. And so that's one pillar in terms of people who want to get in the event industry, and also connect with other event students or event managers, and just have a chat with them and ask them questions as well, like, what is your best advice to help me step into the event industry? What type of event should I attend? Some people might be shy of networking. There's a great book called Business Networking, which really helped me to overcome the fear of networking, because networking is key to help you expand your community and the people that you know within an event industry. So maybe go to industry events as well, and start connecting with people, and also working on your personal brand. What do you stand for? What is your passion? What are the skills that you can bring to a role that you want to get into the event industry? So I'll say definitely work on your personal brand as well, and just building up your personal brand, and just be present within different platforms, so LinkedIn and Instagram, I'll say. So that really helped me in terms of my personal brand and building who I am, Tinique Hay, as well as Hay Events. So that's that pillar. The other pillar, in terms of if you want to start your own events management business, or you want to become an entrepreneur and start your own business, I would say really have a strategy in place. Don't just jump straight into it. Really have a strategy of who you want to serve, what is your unique selling point, what is the services that you offer, what do you specialize in, and really focus on getting maybe a mentor, business coach, who really supported me as well. So my first 2 years, I got a business coach who really helped me. Her name was Nadia. She was the best ever. She helped me with the strategy, helped me with the onboarding process of getting new clients, helped me to think about getting new leads. And so really have a strategy in place, have a mentor, and think about reading key books as well, that I can put in the chat or give it to Naomi after. I've got a full list of books that I read to help me as I ventured into entrepreneurship. So reading, building up your learning and your knowledge within starting your own business, because it's a roadmap. You don't learn this in uni, college, nothing, which I think key. I think colleges, unis, and even secondary school should really have a sector or module about starting your own business and what are the areas that you need to focus on, and the ins and outs of starting your own business and being an entrepreneur, because it's quite because I would have loved that. So I would say, yeah, those are the things that I would advise. I gave a lot because I'm very passionate about this. But yeah, so yeah, if anyone else wants advice, help, top tips, just follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn, and I'm happy to support you.
You're a star. Thank you. Right, so that's it. We've had one quick question to me about what advice would you give to young people getting into events to put on their CV? I don't have enough time to go through my whole advice for that. One quick thing, and I said this at University of Westminster recently, if you're a student coming into the events industry, you have to say how you will add value to employer. You have to get over this, like, the whole industry is dying to recruit you, because unfortunately they're not. They want you, but they don't know you yet. So advice for people coming into the industry on your CVs: show how you can add value, show how you can make people's life easier, and make them have a chat with you, because CVs are just to get an interview, they're not to get a job. So there's my advice. Right. Okay, thank you very much, Tinique. That was amazing. I really enjoyed getting to know your stories. I enjoyed that. I love hearing about people's stories, journeys into the events. And you generally make the industry a better place, not just because of what we spoke about, some of the issues you've had personally, but also that entrepreneurship, that we need people in the industry. So wonderful. It's really good to that. It's great to get a deeper insight into you, your love for the industry, and obviously the incredible work you're doing, which is amazing. So just as a reminder to everyone else, we are currently streaming live on LinkedIn and YouTube. This will be available for eternity, so you can stay updated for the next episode. Visit my LinkedIn profile, turn on the little notifications, or on the website, and you'll be reminded of future episodes, or just my fortnightly newsletter where I talk about the events industry and recruitment. I want to thank everyone for joining us live. Tinique, any final comments from you?
Just follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, if you want to connect with me and gain more experience in the event industry, or you've got a keen idea that you want to turn into fruition, and you want to elevate it to the next level in terms of starting your own business. Message me, DM me. I'm happy to support you.
And also, if you're looking for an event professional, obviously give Tinique some money, which is what we're all in this for as well. So Tinique, thank you very much.
Exactly, add that.
Yeah, give me money. So thank you, everyone. That is a wrap for episode 7. Just remember, there is enough bullshit in the world already. Please treat recruitment as a strategy and do not dump it on the side of the desk. Thanks very much.